This is the Joby Podzilla. It's Joby's answer to this, the Gorilla Pod. But can they improve on YouTube's favourite tripod?
They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it.
The Podzilla was sent to me free of charge, but this video is not sponsored. The Podzilla is close relatives of this. This is the Joby HandyPod. They share everything from this point up, but the Podzilla comes with some ultra flexible legs. The Podzilla comes in two sizes. It comes in a large and a medium. I have the medium. The medium Podzilla weighs in at 250 grams. It is 25 centimeters long and it comes in 4 colors. It comes in red, yellow, teal and grey. In case you haven't guessed, this is the grey. The larger one weighs 420 grams and is 31.5 centimeters tall and only comes in 1 color, which again is the grey. The maximum payload for the Podzilla medium is 1 kilogram. This means it should comfortably be able to hold my GH5, which weighs in at 725 grams for the body, plus another 125 grams for my 25mm prime. Now, while it does hold it and feels fine, if you give it a good shake, the ball head will shift. So my advice, if you're getting close to the maximum payload of the medium, you might want to step up to the large. The large has a maximum payload of 2.5 kilograms and has a slightly different ball head, but we'll get into that later. Both the medium and the large kit come with one of these. This is a phone mount. It's compatible with phone sizes of 6.7 centimeters or 2.6 inches wide, up to a maximum of 8.8 centimeters or 3.5 inches wide. It's worth mentioning there's a fair bit of depth to the holder. If I, for example, put my iPhone XR in its case, it fits in nice and snug. You can jiggle it around, it's not going anywhere. Likewise, if you take it out of the case, the same, it won't move front to back or side to side. It feels pretty secure. The same, however, can't be said for my iPhone mini. I'm one of those crazy people that doesn't generally have my phone in a case. If you put that phone into this holder, it will slip out. It moves front to back and it will fall out altogether. That's because it's just under the minimum width that this phone bracket accepts. So just be aware, if you are an iPhone mini user, you will need to add a case to it and check the dimensions to make sure that it's not going to slip out. That said, you can remove the phone mount and put one on that will fit your phone. If you are going to use the included mount, you can use it in both landscape and portrait. And if you really want, you can even use it in a number of other angles because it's got fixed positions at every 45 degrees. On either end of the phone clamp, you will find a cold shoe mount. This means you're able to set up quite a nice mobile vlogging rig. You could add a light, a microphone, 2 lights, whatever you want. Here, for example, I've got a Rode Micro on one side and I've got a Joby BMO light on the other. Full review of the BMO lights are linked up here and down here if you're interested. The only thing I would say is if you are using the BMO light with these cold shoes, you're likely to find they may slip out. They're not super secure. It may be worth getting one of those tightened down cold shoes just to make sure they're not going to slide out. If shooting on a phone is not your thing, then of course you have the standard 1/4-20 mount on there, where you can mount the camera directly to the tripod, or you can add a base plate like this one from Falcam, again reviews up here and down here, or you can Frankenstein your own one like I did using this old Joby tripod that I just really like the quick release on. More on that later. The ball head on both the medium and the large are nothing new, but they are slightly different. For the medium, it's exactly the same as the aforementioned HandyPod. This is both a pro and a con. On the surface, I like the function of the ball head. It's simple to operate and it's reasonably secure when it's in position, assuming of course you're inside the payload limit, and it's able to do a 90-degree turn. Unfortunately, the medium has no quick release. It just has that 1/4-20 as previously mentioned. When it comes to the large one, you do get a quick release. This is similar to the ball head found on older action camera Gorilla Pods of the past. This is exactly where I hacked this top plate from, and I can't actually find it on Joby's website any longer. These are actually permanently attached, hence this was cut off with a hacksaw, but they do come with an upgraded tightening mechanism similar to these 3K ball heads, which is much more secure because you can tighten it right down, as opposed to the push button, which only stays in place when you release it. There's no extra tightening method there. The quick release plate is also similar to that of the 3K ball head. It's just a little bit smaller. So you can see it's about 2/3 the size. They are interchangeable though. They're the same size to the tip. It's just that the smaller one ends before the larger one. The large Podzilla also allows for a 90-degree rotation, meaning that you can do portraits or overheads or whatever. Personally, I think the large Podzilla would have been just that much better if it had just featured the 3K ball head, which by the way is my all-time favourite ball head, and I have several of them. It would have also been handy if it was removable like on the existing GorillaPods. In fact, while I'm at it, I'd also like to see the 3K ball head with the legs of the HandyPod. I want to mash these two together, and I think that would be the perfect rigid handheld tripod. Also, I'd like to be able to buy a standalone 3K base plate just like this one, but in the 3K, so that I can remove it and put it onto other things just like I can with the Falcam. But I digress. Bear in mind, I don't actually have a large Podzilla to test. This is all things that I've assumed by looking through the photos on the website, but having had several bits of Joby gear over the years, I'm pretty sure that I am correct. The Podzilla takes a completely different approach to flexible legs to that of the GorillaPod. Gone are the ball and socket lockline legs like that on the GorillaPod. This is well documented that over time they tend to fail. Instead, they are replaced with these ultra flexible, rubber covered, continuously bending legs. I don't know what the legs are actually made of, so we'll have to see over time whether they are also prone to failure. The legs are covered from top to bottom in rubber, so they are grippier than the GorillaPod legs. They're covered in these kind of raised rubber rings, which are similar to some old school BMX handles, so they're super grippy. All this means they're incredibly grippy and incredibly flexible. And that's the point, right? The legs themselves can be bent round far tighter than those of the GorillaPods. And I also find them much quicker and much easier to straighten. They are also articulated at the top of the leg, meaning that if you just want to stand the tripod up straight, then you just pull the legs out. You don't need to bend them at all. All in all, I think the Podzilla legs are a huge improvement over the GorillaPod ones. However, when it comes to their attachment point, I'm a little bit concerned. Each time you bend one of the legs, you put pressure on the underside of the ball head on this piece of plastic. You can see when I bend it, it actually slightly opens. Again, this is exactly the same on the HandyPod, but this is just a hinge point on the HandyPod. Whilst you can push it and get the same result, it's not really designed to be used like that, so it's less of an issue. However, when it comes to the Podzilla, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're always going to be putting pressure when you're bending those legs up on that plastic at the bottom. Whilst I haven't actually had any issues as of yet, I just wonder if they will stand the test of time, so that remains to be seen. The attachment points are exactly the same on both the medium and the large. The legs on the Podzilla are far thinner than they are on the GorillaPod, and they close up a lot tighter to a lot smaller of a footprint. This means when you're holding the Podzilla versus the GorillaPod, it's far more comfortable because it's a smaller grip compared to this. I should say neither of them are anywhere near as comfortable as the contoured handle of the HandyPod, but it's a slightly different prospect. If a flexible tripod is what you need and you're shooting either mobile or a point and shoot camera, then I would definitely recommend considering the Podzilla. If you're shooting something heavier, you may need to stick with the beefier GorillaPod unless you're happy with the trade-offs that the Podzilla offers in terms of the ball head. Personally, I'd love to see a hybrid between the Podzilla and the GorillaPod. I would like the top part of the GorillaPod, and I would like the legs of the Podzilla. And there I think you would have a really compelling package that will suit both those who need something a bit beefier for a larger camera and also want the flexibility of a bendy tripod. Until that happens, I think I'll get a fair amount of use out of this one, and I may even pick up the larger one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it.